So the first thing you're going to need for this costume, obviously, is a skin. I mean mask. So I chose Model Magic because A, I had it and it's really cheap, and B, the skin mask looks pretty featureless, almost like you pressed something malleable over someone's face and sort of got the impression of it, and then cut the holes out. So that's what I did. I squished it up in my hands, pounded it flat, and then pressed it against my face to get a basic impression of my features, get like the placement of them. And then I started cutting out the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. So next I used alcohol activated paints for a lighter washing effect. And I started out with red all around the edges where it would have been cut off from the body. So I just ringed it all with red, and then it was a little too pink, so I added some brown to give it more of a rusty blood color. And you just spend your time washing with color, blending it in, getting the bloody patches exactly how you want them. This is where I realized that I forgot to slice the edges so that they looked like they had been, sliced. So I went ahead and did that, and then I repeated the same red and brown combination around the edges as well, those edges as well. Then I started adding more brown patches to act as sort of facial contouring, general skin tone, etc. Just really in patches, kind of how you would typically contour or paint a face, but not as precise here because it's supposed to look a little dingy and spotty and almost watercolored. Now it's time for some blue. I will admit that the shade I used was a little too dull to be the right shade of blue. It kind of ended up looking gray compared to the shades I'd already been using, but that's okay, it kind of worked out. But basically you just add blue because you have blue and green veins under your skin, and if you don't have those tones in a skin tone, then it doesn't exactly look natural. And so you can see them in the original design. So I'm adding them here, especially around the eye rings, the nose rings, and some parts of the mouth rings. That's typically where you find them in this paint job. When you're happy with the red, brown, and blue, you can start with maybe the eyebrows. For this, I wanted it to stand out a little bit better, so I used water-activated paints. And I started with a medium brown, just going in tiny hair-like strokes in the shape of the eyebrow. Once you're done with the medium brown, you can go in with black. Now I would recommend using kind of a more watery black at first, so you can build up the definition rather than getting too heavy-handed with it, because hairs are so fine, and if you're too coarse with your paint, then they don't look very real. So here I'm going in with watery black, and then once that dries, I will go in with a more opaque consistency of black. Now it's the best part, time for the real blood. So I used a very cheap, very watery pint of blood type blood. It's going to dry very thin, very much like watered down blood. And this is good because the blood on the original mask is clearly built up in a lot of layers. So this very watery blood will give staining where you want it. And then once it's all dry, you can either deepen parts of the stains or use a different kind of blood to provide more contrast on top. Something that I didn't show, but that I did after I was done with the fake blood, is I added some water-activated paints again, very, very watery, just to blend them in with the blood shade because it was a little too pink. So I used some browns and some yellows to kind of make it more rusty and dried and icky looking. If you don't want to buy a bow tie, just make one with things you already have laying around at home. Put some fake blood on a knife. Remember to keep those lips hydrated. And you're ready to go.
Bedford. Where's Bedford? Come on. Yeah, damn.
Pretty boy looking over, pretty girl gets the boys. Pretty things can be evil, pretty tough to avoid. Pretty hard on it, 8 days a week, causing enough fuss in the big city. 8 days a week, 8 days a week, sucker, 8 days a week. Spilling drinks down my shirt, wasted, hooligan trying to flirt. Basic, home on my own, let the good times roll. Yeah, I'm far too gone, but now she wanna talk to me.
Oh yes.
Think about foreigners, they taking our jobs, we should send them away. I can't believe what I heard, how she saying these words, but I'm far too gone. You should let me love you. I can make you change, I could. I was meant to love you. And trying to fix your brain, turn it back to good.
2 corn dogs and mozzarella sticks? Yep. Hi, can I please get 2 corn dogs and an order of mozzarella sticks?
Anything else?
That's it.
That was a medium mozzarella stick, right?
Yes. Yes.
All right, your total is $7.50. You have a good day.
Thank you. Being considered.
What?
I don't know.
Did she say anything?
No, just wait.
Pretty boy looking over, pretty girl gets the boys. Pretty things can be evil, pretty tough to avoid.
Listen, I can't fit the glue down in my mouth.
Pretty hard on it, 8 days a week, causing enough fuss in the big city. 8 days a week, 8 days a week, sucker, 8 days a week. 8 days a week, sucker, 8 days a week. Parties in full swing. Don't tell me I have mostly been spending my time with this person I don't like just because they're very good looking. How did we get so high? 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 How the hell do we get so high? How the hell do we get so high? Let me love you. I can make you change, I'm good. I would like to live on it 8 days a week, causing enough fuss in the big city. 8 days a week, 8 days a week, sucker, 8 days a week. 8 days a week, sucker, 8 days a week. I can make you change, I can fix your brain, yeah. I can make a change, try to fix your